Welcome to London. My name's Nick Puntis. I'm chairman of GCUK. I was diagnosed, for those that don't know, I was diagnosed in 2010 with a nearly 8 centimetre cyst in my stomach. That was removed with all margins clear, which is good news. That's what you want to hear when you have a tumour removed. But it was a very high risk cyst, in that it, not because of its size or its location, because of its mitotic count. So it meant that the chances of it coming back for me was very high. So they put me on imatinib for 1 year. I then as a patient representative, attended a nice technology appraisal where they look at drugs to see whether or not they will be accepted by the NHS. And that one was about whether they would accept imatinib for adjuvant treatment. Adjuvant meaning you've had the tumour removed, but the chances of it returning are very high, so they want to treat you just in case it decides to come back. That was accepted in that nice technology appraisal, which meant that you were allowed 3 years of adjuvant treatment on imatinib. So I had about a year off, and then they put me on imatinib again for another 3 years. So I had 4 years of being on imatinib. Not nice. So some I know have been on longer than that. But luckily, I'm off it now. It hasn't come back, touch wood. And I became a trustee in 2012 and then chairman in 2015. And yeah, we've now got a team of trustees that are all very active, which they'll all tell you about what they do in a minute. So, this meeting isn't just about learning from the experts. It's also an opportunity for you as patients and carers to talk to each other. So that's why we give a lot of opportunity for you to do that, because we found that in our feedback forms, have we got feedback forms on the tables? There will be at lunchtime, yeah. The feedback forms are very important to us. They tell us what you got from the meeting, what you didn't like about it, what you liked about it, what you'd like to see more of. But the one enduring theme that we see all the time about these meetings is that people like to talk to other patients and carers that are going through a GIST journey. So we try and give as much opportunity as we can to allow that to happen, including at lunchtime as well. So, and of course all the trustees are here to talk to you about anything that you'd like to talk to us about. So that's an enduring. Now, unfortunately this afternoon, Sarah McClelland isn't very well, so she's not able to come this afternoon. So we've got an infill spot, which again is very important. So it's GCUK supporting Sarcoma UK State of the Nation. There's 3 questions. Mark's going to take us through that this afternoon, so I won't steal his thunder. But again, that's another way of us as patients and carers, seeing as we're all here together, to help input into other work that other charities are doing. Sarcoma being the overarching charity, just as a sarcoma, we're the biggest cohort of sarcoma. So we are very close to them as a charity as well. We work together with a lot of things. Now, in a minute I'm going to hand over to Mark. He's going to talk about our new website. So about 2 years ago we decided as a charity that we wanted to look at updating our website. So we asked everybody who was on our listserv and other areas that you can engage with us what you thought about the website and whether you saw any improvements, because we're not experts in websites and things like this. We had an expert company helping us with it, but it's important that we listen to you. So Mark in a minute is going to talk to you about that 2-year journey and where our website looks at the moment. So GIST Cancer UK, run by and for GIST patients and carers. So Judith, our life president, is here. She founded Judith, stand up, say hello. Judith founded our charity back in 2007.
Yes, we've been a group before then.
Right.
And then we became a charity.
So formally became a charity in 2007. And the main thrust of that was to be a voice for patients and a place for patients to be able to come and speak to each other, which is, again, as I say, the enduring theme is why we keep that as an important part of our charity. But in the years since Judith founded it, we've matured, we've improved, we've listened, and this is now what we do. So we support patients and their carers. I won't run through everything, but we have things like the specialist Paul's GIST clinics, which some of you may have been to. We run, I think, 3 of those a year now. Now Jane Bressington is a very, very integral part of that. That was her brainchild along with Judith. She founded that, and she still continues to engage with that, and we thank her for doing that. Enables the sharing of patient and carer experiences, as I said earlier. Provides access to specialist mental and well-being provision, and we have certain speakers at times during our meetings that come and talk to us about that, and we find that very interesting and helpful to our patients and carers. So sustained research and effective treatment. So this is a sort of a step further than the original charity was set up to do. We wanted to see if we could help inspire people to try and find a cure. I mean, that's what we all want, isn't it? We want some way of making sure that this cancer that we've got, that there's some treatments that mean, we can get over it. So we work with healthcare professionals to identify the research priorities. Fundraising has meant that we've got, a bank of money that we ring fence for for research into treatments and finding a cure. We've also got our GIST tumour bank as well, which those that have engaged with that, we're not looking for the more common GISTs now, because we have a big tumour bank of the more common exon 11. All of these things will become more apparent if you've not heard of those phrases. But we're looking for the rarer ones now, so that any PhD students or other professionals that want to look into GIST, they've got access to these tumours. It's really important that they can actually work on live tumours. Disseminate the research outcomes through to the people that engage with us, but also through other medical professionals across the world. Earlier this year, I was in Rome at a conference the British Sarcoma Group conference, which again covers all sarcomas, but it's the way of us engaging to listen to what other people across the world are doing with regard to GIST, and for them to listen to what we're doing as well. So it's all about community, the big community. And of course, clinical trials, and we've got later on this morning, we've got Professor Robin Jones who's going to talk about the PEAK trial, and we've got Hilary with us today from Cogent. Where are you, Hilary? That's at the back. Hilary, happy to take some questions from any of you. When we're in our discussion area of our meeting, so please speak to Hilary. I believe the trial is closed now, but at least she can tell you a little bit about what goes on. But I'll leave that to Hilary for you to speak to her, and you'll know more about that when Robin gives his talk later. And then influence locally, nationally, and internationally. As I just said, that's part of what we do, and we work closely with other related charities. So all of this is on our website, and you can pick that up and read for yourselves. But I think now I'll hand over to Mark, and he will take you through our new website.
Yes, gloriously, page by page, I will take you through it for the next. Should keep us busy until lunchtime. Right, my name is Mark Atley. I am secretary. My GIST journey started in about 2017. I had GIST, which was originally a sort of small tangerine size, but grew quite rapidly, and that was surgically removed. I was on imatinib for 3 years, and then since then, routinely yearly CT scans. So that's my background, and as part of that process, I wanted to give something back to the GIST community, and so I, for my sins, became secretary of GIST Cancer UK. And one of the things that my role has been involved in is revising the website, because we had a survey of members about 2 years ago, and the survey said the website thank you. The website is a little dated and is a bit out of date and is a bit repetitive. So we thought we'd refresh it and make it look a bit more modern. So this is now what it looks like. It just went live at the beginning of September. So if you haven't had a chance to explore it yet, you can go and explore it. It has all of the old things plus a few new things, but it's all presented in quite a different sort of way. So if you go into sort of get information, you got down the left-hand side as you look at that is various things that are going on. So if you want to find out the national picture or you want to find about treatments, you can find under treatments what the standard treatment is for GIST. You can also find out where the specialist hospitals are and all those sorts of things. And on the pictures you can find patient stories. I'll talk a little bit more about patient stories in a while. But also, if you go back to the get information bit, oh, you find, right, right, yeah. We will coordinate this somewhat better. Right, so if you go to get information, you got the patient stories and you got the meetings archive. So all of the previous events, like today's events, if you want to go back and look at things around particular topics, so what's the nature of a multidisciplinary team, what's the latest status of GIST research, what's the latest statement of standard GIST treatments, you will find in the archives those sorts of reports. You can just click there and it'll take you to a video of the recording. So that's the get information area. Then there's the get support. So if you want to know more about the support that you can get personally around this, you can find out about the helpline, the importance of registering with us so you get access to the support and the online forum. You can get details of future patient carer meetings and what's coming up and where they're going to be, and areas around when are the next Pause GIST session is going to be, areas around health and well-being, and also clinical trials, what clinical trials are ongoing and how you can get involved in them if they're open. So that's the get support area. Then if you move to the get involved area, there's various things here, a little bit more about research for anybody who wants to talk about or explore research funding through GIST Cancer UK. That's the place you can go. In order, of course, to fund the research, we need donations and fundraising. So you can find out here about the sort of activities that you can get involved in that might raise funds to help and support research and the other important activities that we do. Because as a charity, we get no external funding. We have to find all of the funding ourselves to support all of the activities we do, such as the events today and all of the things that we've been talking about, all come through things that we have to find funding for. There is the link to the National GIST Biobank. So if you want to support the biobank by having your a sample listed and recorded in the biobank, then that talks about the process you have to go through to get approval for that and support in that process. If you go to the volunteer page, so one of the things that the charity is, it's all run by volunteers. So I'd quite like the trustees to just stand up and briefly introduce themselves. And you'll need the microphones because otherwise it won't pick it up on the video.
Hello, I'm Ros Langford. I joined, I think, 2 years ago now. It seems a long time. And each of us got sort of various roles. My role is communications, so I started the newsletter, which some of you hopefully will have read. The newsletter gets posted onto the website as well, so if you don't see it, then that's where you can find it. And I also run the social media and lots of other things that I'm involved in on various group works and things. So I've enjoyed doing it. I am a patient myself, and the very first meeting that I came to, I think, was down in London, and that's where I got involved, becoming a trustee. And I would really encourage anybody who wants to get involved to do that. Who's next? Who's nearest?
Hello, I'm Kathy Hampshire. Sorry, you've all got to turn around, that's a bit scary. I'm a trustee. I became a trustee at the beginning of this year. I went to the Leeds patient day because I live up in Yorkshire, and I became a trustee soon after that because, as always, we were asking for volunteers and trustees to help us. I got a few roles, so I do all the mailing. So when you ask for brochures and things like that, that's me. I also have worked with Mark, and there's a whole team of us have worked on the website, and I'm working with one of the other trustees, Tony, at the front there, to look into, or to work beside him to find out about research. So I've got a multifaceted role. I'm also a patient. I'm a bit strange. My GIST was diagnosed in 2021, and I had my operation about almost 3 years ago to the day. And it was removed. Unfortunately, last year it came back. I can't take the two normal medications, so I'm on regorafenib, and I'm alive and kicking, and it's doing okay. So that's me.
Yep, so good morning everyone. I'm Tony Manuel. There's a repetitive theme going to go on here because I'm also a patient. I'm even more special because there are no drugs that work for me. Can you hear me now? No better? Okay. So I'm what's known, or used to be known as a wild type GIST. Some things I would say. So I'm actually what they call SDH deficient, which in my case is a hereditary mutation. So all of the drugs that you'll hear, I guess I think I saw Robin come in, talk about, none of those are effective for me. I was diagnosed in 2019. I was put on imatinib, and then they figured out that it didn't work. So I had surgery 2020. It was successful, although they think it's still in my lymphatic system because it had metastasized, but it's under control, as they say. I became a trustee in 2020, again, at one of these meetings. In fact, I think it was this meeting in London in 2020 that Helen and my wife and I attended. And I thought, yeah, it's important to give back because of the support that I'd got as a patient from the charity. You don't have to be a trustee. You can be a special volunteer. You can, go as part of the patient panel that Mark's running to provide your feedback. So we're always interested in, not just patients, but their families and those that support them as well. So, I guess our plea is please get involved. I'm responsible. I manage the IT systems. So listserv, which is our email forum, which we are looking at more modern alternatives at the moment, but it needs to be simple and not be too complicated for people to use. So we're investigating if we can get an alternative to listserv. I'm also responsible for all of the research. So as was said by Nick, we have money that's been donated, thankfully, by various fundraising events and patients and their families, and we look to use that money effectively. So not just in terms of having patient support, but also in terms of research into a cure, or at least better understanding of the various types of GIST that there are. So if anybody wants to make a donation, I have the little sum of unit here. You don't need to have any cash. You can just use your card or your phone or anything that you normally would use to pay money. That's me.
Hi, I'm Sharon. You may know me from emails and forgetting names, but I've been running events since I had my GIST I'm a wild type GIST on quarterly scans at the Marsden. I've been running events because that was my background, but I am retiring, and so we're looking for somebody with some organisational skills who would be able to help out. I'll be in the background, but not the main person. This is our largest meeting. We run 3 a year, 2 in the regions and one in Scotland. So we're covering the country. I think the next meeting will be in Manchester in April next year. Haven't firmed up the dates. But yes, if there's anybody here with organisational skills or with a good head for names, then we'd be very pleased to talk to you about how you can support us and we can support you. Thank you very much.
Right, so as you might have gathered, we are looking for more members of the board. So we're looking for people to become trustees. And those of you who are observant will have noticed that the trustees have a red lanyard. So if you want to find more about what it is to be a trustee and what it involves, during the course of the day, find somebody with a red lanyard and talk to them about it. But we are looking for more people to become involved as trustees. But there are other ways in which you can get involved with us as a charity. We're looking for people to provide just general organisational support. We're looking for people who provide more specialist supports around helpline or sort of specialist areas. You can join the patient panel. We use the patient panel as a sort of sounding board for things which are quite important and that are coming along. So that's a small group that we just bounce ideas off of. Or you can provide a patient story to put in the patient story section of the website. So those are all areas in which you might get involved. If you're interested in that, come and talk to us or email admin@giscancer.org.uk and we'll get in touch with you. Or when you get the forms at the end of the day, if you put your name on there and say which area you might be interested in, we'll be in touch with you to explain a little bit more about how we can use your skills to help and support everything that the charity does. So that's enough for me. I think Judith just wants to have a quick word.
I'm wearing a red lanyard, but I'm not a trustee. I have been elevated to the status of honorary life president, having started this lot many, many years ago. The only responsibility I have now, which we could use some help with, is the helpline. I'm one of the people who answers the helpline. I think there are 3 of us at the moment who do that. And I also phone people who register. If you click on the register button, as you've all obviously done because you're here, you get a phone call. And it's usually one of the 3 of us, just to check. You're not a reporter looking for a good story. You are a genuine patient, and I also tend to check that you're actually getting appropriate care. There are only 3 of us, and we could actually use some more help on the helpline. You really need to be, obviously, a bit knowledgeable, sympathetic, and sometimes you need counselling skills. Not always, but sometimes you have a very distressed person at the end of the phone, and you do need some skills in that area. I was a trained counsellor. All the 3 of us have done counselling training. We don't have the facilities to train you in those skills, but if you work in that area in any other field, if you're a Samaritan or you work in any other area where you use counselling skills and would like to get involved with the helpline, we'd be delighted to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. The 2 other trustees that aren't here today, one is Drew. Drew deals with the helpline support and volunteering as well. And John is our treasurer. John used to be the chair or CEO of an NHS trust up in Liverpool. So he brings a lot of NHS background. It's his daughter that's the GIST patient. And with regard to any volunteers that we may get from anybody here today, we do offer training and support in some of the areas. So not the really specialist stuff, but certainly in what is expected in the roles that we are in need of. You've probably all seen the table at the side there on my left, which is all our information. Feel free to take whatever you would like to help you understand GIST. And as I said, we don't sell anything because we aren't allowed to, but we're happy to take donations from anybody. Just a final thing about me. I said that we, as a charity, we try and engage as wide as we can. Another role that I I do is I'm a trustee of another cancer charity called Cancer 52. Now, it should be renamed Cancer 56. So the 56 is 56% of deaths in cancer come from rare and less common cancers. So the four main ones, let fewer people die of the four main cancers than do of the rare and less common cancers. So my role as a trustee with Cancer 52 is to promote at government level the fact that we need more support, we need more money, we need to be listened to more. There's a lot of time goes into the four main ones, and they don't forget about the rare and less common, but they don't have the same amount of engagement, and we need to make sure that they do. So my role within that is to speak at that level. Now, some of you may know that I stood for Parliament in a safe seat for my party, which we lost. And it's a shame, forget politics. There was a survey went out with all candidates that were standing in the election from all parties across the whole country. And I didn't know anything about this till somebody sent it to me, but I was named as number 3 that would make, if I was elected, would make the most difference within the health spectrum. So my role obviously has been picked up in the stuff that I've done within health over the last 14 and a half years. They felt would be able to make a big difference at government level. I'm going to stand again in 4 years' time, so hopefully then that influence, because you can't really do as much as you'd like to do, certainly as much as I'd like to do, without being inside. So that's why I was trying to get inside, but we'll see.